Hello, everybody. Thank you for watching. I am Sandra Lee, Human Design Specialist and Biofield Tuning Practitioner. And today I want to introduce you to my wonderful friend, Jacqueline Kane. She is a low back pain specialist, and I love the work that she does. Hello, Jacqueline.
Hi, Sandra. So nice to be here with you.
Oh, it's fun. We've been planning this for a little while, so we get to talk and share Jacqueline's work and her with everybody. So I'm going to go ahead and just start.
Mhm.
Can you tell us what got you into the healing work that you do?
So for me, I've always been into natural healings. I always resonated toward that part of the bookstore, self-help, all that stuff. Ever since I can remember, I think I came out just like grabbing that stuff. But then I had my first massage on a cruise ship and I thought, oh my God, what was that? I was so relaxed because even when I go on vacation, I would have a list. I want to do this, 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 and I had to hit everything. It was a cruise. So, of course, I wanted to do everything. So I was always thinking. And then after this massage, there was nothing in here. It just stopped. And I said, what just happened? That has never happened to me before. I was so relaxed. My friends had addressed me to go to dinner and I was out of it. I was completely gone. So that really started my curiosity about massage and really just wanting to explore more healing modalities on a much deeper level.
So, how did you get into energy healing?
So energy healing was kind of a mistake, as it usually is. um, So there was a time in my life and in my marriage where things weren't going that well. And I was wondering, oh my God, if I'm so positive, how did I end up here? And as the universe or God, angels, whatever you want to call it, have it, things showed up in my email. And one was something called tapping for wealth coaching. And I thought, well, what is that? With Margaret Lynch. So she just happened to be one state over. So I bought the book and you got a free event ticket and I brought a friend and that was one way that really started me just exploring energy and EFT, emotional freedom technique or tapping, and diving into the subconscious and our thoughts because that really started me on the path that our thoughts create our reality. And then fast forward from there, it was just like, I felt like I was learning for 10 years straight. All of a sudden, I end up with, in front of one of my mentors who does this ancestral energy clearing, which blew my mind in the fastest results. So a little story behind that was it was around Christmas time and my in-laws and my family were out at a bar. It was around Thanksgiving, and I knew that my sister-in-law was going to have a hard time because she lost some family members. And I said, why don't we just get out of here? Why don't we just go to Ireland? My in-laws were from Ireland. I thought, let's take the kids, the grandkids, let's go. I just thought everybody would be happy and wanted to go away. And my in-laws were adamant that they were not going. And I thought, I was just curious about that. But I said, okay, we're not going. So I took it off our plate. And then 2 months later, I'm in Texas with one of my coaches who takes a couple hundred of us through this ancestral energy clearing. And I didn't feel anything in the moment, but once he finished and we were up walking around, my phone started ringing. And my son texted me to say, Mom, I found a house for 13 of us to go to Ireland. And I said, honey, that's really great, but we're not going. Didn't you hear? Didn't you get the memo? And then the next message, the next text was my husband who said, Mom and Dad changed their mind. They're on board and we're looking for flights. I was like, what just happened? we weren't even talking about it for months. And all of a sudden, somebody takes me through this energy process, and the whole trajectory of my family and that vacation shifted. And it's those moments that I say, oh my God, what happened? I really had to pay attention to it,
So it
because that
sounds
trip
like,
ended up being beautiful.
yeah, it sounds like that experience of energy healing was what gave you the belief that, oh
Yes.
my gosh, this stuff works.
Works. Yep.
So is there something else that you would tell someone if they're still skeptical after hearing that story, that doesn't believe, oh, this can't help me with my back pain?
So I hear it all the time. And I know you help people with physical pain too. So you may hear it too. People are like, Jack, I have a physical issue. You can't help me. It's not energetic. It's not that. But the truth is, everything is energy, right? Right? And underneath that physical pain is the energies and the emotions that are causing the physical pain. That's your body's trying to get your attention. So I have a lot of people who are skeptic, and they keep searching for that diagnosis or another test or another pill, whatever it is that's going to fix the physical. But the truth is, you
Say that
have
again. Yes.
to fix the physical, but it's not physical. It only appears as a physical problem, right? Because we all know those people who have had surgery after surgery, physical therapy, and they're never out of pain. They're never being taken off that medication. In fact, the complete opposite is true. There's always another medication for them to take. There's always another surgery. If you had low back issues and you had surgery, then it's going to be a knee problem. Then it's going to be an ankle problem. It could be a shoulder problem.
So tell me, what would you do with someone who's been in that ongoing doctor's surgery medication thing? How would you work with them that is different, that could give them a different result?
Well, I have this conversation with them, right? Sometimes you have to try something else. And I always say, because I did have one of my clients who was coming to me for body work, for Bowen therapy. But she got to a place where she's like, Jack, it's not helping. It's not working. The pain's getting worse. Either I need to go to my doctor and get more surgery or an injection, or she didn't know what to do. And I said, let's just try to go deeper. Let's just do a couple sessions to dive deep into what the energies you're carrying, maybe do some ancestral energy, maybe do some emotional freedom technique, some inner child healing. You do a few of those sessions, and guess what? If you're still in pain, the doctor's always there, right? But the problem, if you do it reverse and you go have your surgery first, right, and then come to us, then you're expecting us to do a lot more magic work, right? Because you're adding rods in, or you're adding a knee replacement, or you're adding all these external parts, right? So I really encourage people to explore. You may be pleasantly surprised at how good you feel. I'm married to an engineer, so him and I are on opposite sides of the spectrum, right? I'm all for energy work. Put me on the table. You need a guinea pig, I'll be on the table. He's like, what are you doing? What's this? But he's finally gotten to the place where he's like, boy, my body's stiff. I need a session.
So what Jacqueline is saying for you watching, if you are somebody who, oh, that's woo-woo, that's not going to make a difference, what she's saying, somebody who is skeptical is, oh, it's actually making a difference. So it really does work.
And for those people, I say, like, because sometimes I'll have a client who is like, Jack, the pain is still this is still happening. We have 60 to 80,000 thoughts a day, right? How many of those thoughts are, oh my God, the pain is so bad. I can't move. I can't keep going. But let's see what did change. Maybe you slept really good for a few days. Maybe you had, and that caused you to have a little bit more energy. Imagine if you each night compounded that week after week, where you had more nights where your body was actually resting and your body was getting the relaxation it needed to heal. Then you can start having more days where you're pain free, where you have all this energy. You think clearly. You weren't angry or upset. You actually enjoyed your day, right? And you were jumping out of bed excited.
That's a really great point, because somebody has an expectation that this is the result I want and
Yes.
this is the way it looks, but
Yes.
it doesn't necessarily always happen that way. Depends on
Yeah.
the body's priorities too.
The body's priorities, your past wounds, your past traumas, what the subconscious mind is going on in there. We're complicated. Human beings are complicated. But if you're living in physical pain and frustration and illness, there's another way. What you're doing has not been working. And what do you need to do to be open to trying something new?
So what are the sorts of techniques that you would use with people?
So it depends on where they're at. I still do in-person massage. No matter where you are, listen to this information. If you have low back pain, I'm in Connecticut. So if you're in Connecticut, stop by and I'll do this massage. But no matter where you are, everybody should know a massage therapist who does psoas work. So your psoas muscle sits in front of your spine. The only way to get to it is through the abdomen. And I put people on their side and side lying and really work the glutes and the piriformis. You have one of those massages, and if you have low back pain when you first got on the table, you will get up with 70% less pain. No lie. So and then I do liposage, which is it works with the lymphatic system, because the lymphatic system is another reason why people are inflexible and they're tight and things are clogged. Most people don't drink water, right? And I know you're a big component about water. Our bodies are made of water. If you're not drinking water, you're dehydrated. Your muscles are tired and they're getting tight. Drink half your weight in ounces in water. So one massage I do, that liposage, it jump starts the lymphatic system again, and you will actually lose inches, not weight, inches. And it can help with some edema that people experience. And then there's Bowen therapy that works. It's a neuromuscular repatterning of the body. So it works every system of the body at the same time. Truly amazing. The reason I love it, and we all have our favorites, right? I love this one because after massage therapy, I killed my thumbs. And I was icing them and massaging them just like most massage therapists do, but nothing worked. After I learned Bowen therapy, I don't remember when it happened, but in a matter of 4 months, I realized my thumbs weren't hurting and it never came back. So these stories are out there. You got to find them, right? And that's why we are trying to educate more people on all these amazing techniques. And then if you want to go deeper, I do ancestral energy clearing. I do inner child healing. I do work with your inner saboteur, because your inner saboteur and your inner child can really take you out. They can derail your goals and your desires really quickly. So there's a specific way to go in and have a conversation with these parts of yourself that are wounded and they're keeping you safe on some level.
So for those of you who are listening, What Jacqueline is saying is that sometimes you need to approach something complex like back pain from multiple directions.
Mm-hmm.
Working with the physical body sometimes really is important, but if you don't address the emotional stuff, the trauma, the belief system, no matter what you do with the physical, it's not going to make that difference. So combining them, and you've got one person here, for those of you who are in Connecticut, can do all of those things for you.
Yeah. It's so you have to look at all of it, right? And sometimes the massage is all you need, depending on how long you've had the low back pain or everything that's going on in a person's life. But if you've been dealing with it for a long time and it's built up, and you said something really big is the beliefs. Your belief system, that's what creates your life. And sometimes you don't even know those beliefs because they're so buried. But that's what's running your life.
Yeah, your belief system creates your thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have those repetitive thoughts, like Jacqueline was talking about earlier, those repetitive thoughts, every time you repeat that negative thought, negative belief, you are reinforcing, putting more material into what it is you don't want.
Yeah.
And so Jacqueline is terrific at helping you reprogram those beliefs and recognize the thoughts and catch them in the moment so that you're not reinforcing.
Yeah. All those beliefs. We have so many, and basically those thoughts can really just beat us up, right? We can live and be confined in our own thinking mind, which can be painful.
Yeah. And you were talking about, ancestral healing and ancestral clearing. So a lot of those beliefs, they came from the parents and what the parents said and what you heard. And right in there is if it's the truth forever. So
Yes.
Jacqueline is fabulous at working with that ancestral content. So you have a workshop coming up. Would you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, it's actually tomorrow and it's at noontime. So it's clearing the inherited energy, and so that you can create a path to better health, greater wealth, and deeper loving connected relationships. So in this workshop, we're going to be clearing your ancestral energy. There's specific processes we can do to clear the energy and create a whole new way of being, not just for you. It's going to be for you, for those that came before you, and all that is coming after you. And then we'll probably do some inner child healing, some emotional freedom technique or tapping, so that I promise you, you're going to leave much more refreshed and ready to address anything in 2023.
Finding some freedom.
Yeah.
From that old stuff that wasn't even yours to begin with.
That's right. You never chose it.
Yeah. Yeah. Like,
although some people say you did choose it before you came here, but really it's all been passed down.
Yeah. How can people get hold of you?
So they can find me at my website, JacquelineMKane.com, and I can put all of this in the comments. In my website, you will hear more information about what I do and my past stories, and even all the books that I've had chapters in, and even some testimonials. You can also find me on Facebook, on all social media platforms. And I will even leave the link for the workshop. If you're free tomorrow and would like to try something new, because you just don't know what will happen when you're open to trying something new.
Yes. It's going to be a wonderful workshop. I look forward to it. Do you have any last words to give our listeners?
I do. So healing miracles don't just happen to others, and they can happen in any area of your life, your health, relationships, and your wealth. Healing miracles happen because they are open to them and they ask for help when others give up. You can be a healing miracle even if your doctors, family, and friends tell you nothing will ever change. It is possible to heal.
And it all depends on your belief.
It's so true. And we have to be careful, right? Because our beliefs can be so strong. And sometimes when we respond, I love, because even there are times when, even though we've been doing it forever, we still get stuck in that I know pattern, right? So I have to remember to ask myself, well, that's interesting with that response, or that's interesting they said that. Just it opens it up for more discussion instead of shutting it right down.
Thank you. It's been wonderful talking with you and getting to know you better. I heard some of those things that I hadn't heard before, so that's always fun.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for watching. Connect with Jacqueline. She's got lots that she offers, not just this workshop. There's always more. So
Thank you.